I have experienced in-home care for my mother who was young. She had this cancer of the abdominal lining, and at some point, she couldn't get out of bed. And then my grandfather lived to be 93 or 94, and he was not that excited about the idea of care in his home either. However, he had a fall, and I'm sure this is a familiar story for all of you. He had a fall, he hit his head on an open cabinet on the way down. He was unloading the dishwasher at 8 o'clock at night. And head wounds bleed, so, the neighbor comes over and it looks like CSI. And he was actually pretty okay, right? I mean, except for cutting his head. It turned out his blood pressure was too low, and he ended up with a pacemaker. And after staying in the hospital for a week at 90, they sent him to a rehab facility that I don't need to name. And he didn't really like being there, it turns out. And he kept saying, "You got to get me out of here." And we had talked about care at home for things like a fall. I mean, we had the lifeline. Is that what it's called? Where you wear it around your neck, except he'd stick it in his pocket or on the table. And I said, "Okay, I can get you out if you'll agree to care in your home." And then we left the rehab facility. I guess it's called against doctor's orders or against
medical advice.
Against medical advice. So that was fun. But it's funny, as we've been interviewing so many different and varied kinds of businesses, what life experience and commonalities come up, right? In a way, at the end of the day, we all have relatives and experiences with our family as caregivers or caregiving. For the Marin Council of Chambers, I'm Stephanie Plant, and this is We Are One Marin. Those were my comments from before we began our interview with the 3 nurses who own AidLife Home Care in San Rafael. We don't usually start our episodes with me talking, but that, quote, "getting to know you" chat was a good example of the personal stories and experiences many of us have with caring for our relatives. We learned as we spent more time with Patricia Ursua, Jocelyn, Cruz, and Kenneth, Liggayu, that caregiving gets easier if you see things the AidLife way, where everyone is family. Join us in conversation about home health care, friendship, and the hardships that come along the way as we support how Marin works.
Hello, my name is Patricia Ursua, and I'm one of the owners, together with Jocelyn and Kenneth, of AidLife Home Care. I'm also a registered nurse by profession, so I like pretty much helping people both in the clinical setting and at their homes, which is one of our motivators on why we came up with this business in the first place.
Thank you all for being here today. I don't know which one of you is the boss, but how are you all here? And nobody's at the shop. Yeah. I saw Kenny point at Jocelyn.
Yeah, so I'm the administrator of AidLife, and they're the care service manager.
Jocelyn, before we go on, I should have given you all this little talk before we started, but my right hand, she's actually my right hand and my left hand, Kalina, is not here today. She's sick. I want to help that microphone. That microphone's not really pointed at you very well. Let's do this. Okay. And then, I didn't tell you all this, but the only other trick is, and none of you are really doing it, but don't play with it. Wait. It's super tempting to tap it, play with the cord, and then everybody listening gets to hear that. And I don't think people like that. So, sorry about that. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear you. Tell me about the name of the business. Where did you come up with the name?
So, it was in our house, and we're just throwing out, like, what do we want to look like? Do we want to help? And then we keep throwing words that would match with our culture. So we come up with aid as help or support. And then, it's not only the seniors. There's family that has injuries, and then we want to help them. So we don't want to just name it as seniors, So we come up with the word AidLife to support life, to support whoever needs help.
Jocelyn just said we were at our home. Tell me about that, Patricia. Do you all live together?
No, so Jocelyn lives in Vallejo, and that's where we started everything. Even before the office here in San Rafael, we started as a home business.
Home base.
Yeah,
Yeah.
home-based business. So, funds, they come as we go. We don't have a huge amount right away, so we want to limit our expenses, and it started humble beginnings.
So you were all friends, and if I'm not mistaken, why don't you just tell me, where did you meet?
We're nursing school classmates. We attended California State University East Bay in Hayward, and that's where we met.
And buddies.
And buddies. I can see that. I can see that.
Patricia worked as a home care aide before, so she's throwing out her experiences. And then, the idea sparked, why we don't create a company that would help this community, improve the quality of care for seniors. And that's why we started the AidLife.
And was it senior care that sort of drove you to start the business?
Yes, so I think I opened up to them my experience with several home care agencies, and I've noticed the downside of what's happening, how clients are, and also the caregivers, which I am. So I opened up to them how clients and employees are treated. So for our business, AidLife Home Care, you want to make that difference, and we want to be able to provide quality care to the clients while also treating our employees right.
Can you talk a little bit about what you saw? You mentioned that you saw that the clients might, or the agency might be cheated. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Based on what I saw is when employees or caregivers are sent to homes, after a while they're just, thrown out there. While for our agency, we pride how we put our caregivers in houses. So we want to match the care, and we also want to make sure that our employees are prepared. So how we do it is we do a walkthrough for each client on their first day. So it's just a safety matter for both the client and the employee, and how they're ready. So all three of us, we do our assessments for our clients. So we know their preferences, all their wants and needs, what their house rules are. So we make a very detailed note on what their preferences are. So we know that. Mm-hmm. So that when we get our employees and we match them with their clients, we know what they need and we're ready. We're not just throwing them out there and, care for this for the sake of money. So what we like to do is walk them through the first day. So on our own time, like on top of everything else, managing the business, we go there hours, to train our employees.
So we want our skills to be done on a safe manner, on a standard manner.
The AidLife way.
The AidLife way.
Sure. Well, yeah, right. You want to sell a standard of care.
Correct.
I like that.
Yeah.
The AidLife way.
So that's the time we make sure that it was done properly. And then we monitor our caregivers are under one of our care service manager, which is nurses, either me or Kenny or Patricia. And then any issues, we handled it. So we're very hands-on owners. We make sure we know our clients. We make sure they know us. They could come to us if they have issues, whether it's a care or they have some concerns. We make sure we attend to it. And your previous questions also, we come up with a business not only because we're in the nursing school or because we just met each other. It goes beyond that. Like for Patricia, she had an experience in home care aid. For me, it's something personal. It's connected with my mom, like you said earlier, like family, right? So I came in here. I left my mom in the Philippines. As a Filipino, we always take care of our elders. That's who we are. And I serve in the military. So it's very difficult for me to go back home and take care of my mother. So I'm split, right? I have to serve my country, and I have a mother that I left behind. And so I understand how difficult it is for family members that even if you really wanted to take care of your family, sometimes you have so much in your plate and you can't do it all, right? And you need some support. I wanted to be that person for them, to help them, to make sure that they could feel that their family is safe, that their family is being taken care of like their own family, you know. So that's also one of the culture that I want to bring in our company, AidLife. We just don't go there and treat them like a business. The seniors is like a business. No. We want to go there in their home and know that we will take care of them. I even have one client that told me, "Are you really a business person?"
Oh.
Because we have to find ways to help him. Because no agency is going to accept him. Because he cannot meet the rates.
You see your clients as an extension of your family.
Exactly.
That's beautiful. I mean,
Yeah.
you're making my eyes well up with tears. I can see it on your face too. It's the emotion is really, it's overwhelming. That's beautiful. I can't imagine what it must be like to feel like you want to be there for your mom and you're here. And that compassion also, I know sometimes we are here and our parents or grandparents are here and we can't do it for other reasons. We have kids or maybe the
Exactly.
relationship's not good enough. We can't do it. And it seems like you're providing an opportunity of no judgment, which is also so important because I think people feel guilty when they can't, when they have to get help. But sometimes that help, right, it creates a better relationship among the family members, right?
Yes, definitely.
And I know, Kenny, you mentioned you immigrated from the Philippines. Were you all born there or here?
We're all born
Yeah.
in the Philippines.
You're all born there in the Philippines. Wow.
We're all immigrants.
Did you have anything to say about how that's been for you?
Well, it's challenging coming out in a third world country as of now. You know, coming up here, America is, the image of America in the Philippines is gray. Like, you know, everything is possible, you know, a full life of opportunity. So that one got me excited. I came here in the United States because my grandfather was a veteran also. So he petitioned my dad to come here. And then that's where all got started. Then when I got here, it's very eye-opening at first because we really don't know anyone in United States, especially California. And we didn't know about the cost of living and all that and all other factors that affects life of people
So
here.
from the Philippines, you came directly to California.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So the only picture I have of America is the American dream that they've been, you know, in the media. And then when I got here, it looks kind of different, to be honest. Yeah, it's not the same ideal image that you see back home when you're living here. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. These are emotional, hard subjects, and I am always humbled by the honesty of the people I'm lucky enough to interview. If you need a minute, we can talk about something else.
Sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was going to say that my husband was in the Peace Corps in the Philippines for 3 years, and I asked him this morning what I might say, and I think what I say is magandang umaga.
Yeah.
Is that right? Good
Yes.
morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. See it.
Gandang umaga din.
Oh, it sounds better when you say it.
You did great.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I know a little bit about the culture from his time there and the gifts that he was treated to from living way outside of Manila in the rice terraces. I mean, a very tribal area. This was in the late 1980s, but he got so much from his experience and such an understanding of those family ties that you all speak about. My mom's family is Italian, and I grew up in the Italian family culture. I mean, some of my friends, you know, they still live next door to their parents. I think that's a common in many different countries, but I think one of the things about the United States or California is that you can replicate that here. And you find your people. And it seems, Kenny, like you found your people.
Yes, I did.
But it also seems like there are some hard things about coming to the United States, maybe.
Yeah, sorry, I got
Don't be sorry.
emotional there for a second. So yeah, coming here in the United States, you really don't know what's in store for you, because there's no relative, there's no one to guide you on the first year. So it's kind of rough at the beginning.
How old were you?
21. So we migrated here, and then we don't know the resources that are available for immigrants, first and foremost. And there's no relative really here that knows everything about those resources.
It wasn't like you had somebody who had lived here waiting
Correct.
for to guide you.
Yeah, and then to adopt us or something
Right,
like that. Yeah,
right.
so we don't have that support when we move here. So we've been renting houses, rooms to be exact, because you know how expensive housing could be in California, especially in the Bay Area. So it's just navigating the system, going to education, health, finance. We don't have that support, so we kind of like just struggle through it, and then go day by day, asking people that we met as we have a long stay here in California. So that, and then eventually we made contacts with people that were able to guide us and help us along the way, and here we are now.
And are your relatives still here?
My grandpa just passed away 2 years ago, and then recently my grandma just passed away.
Just to try to make you cry a little more. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Oh, and your parents are here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think that impacts your relationship with each other?
As we support each other in the business sense, we're always there for each other, like to back up each other, be a support in every way, since, we have had our own struggles, both at home, in the business, but most especially the personal stuff we go through. Similar to what Kenny was saying, it's more of the resources that were available for us that we didn't know. We were like a blank slate coming to the U.S. pretty much with Jocelyn's experience with the military. She did all of that, to push through and be able to have what she has now to provide for her family. Same with Kenneth, working towards nursing school, which I do too. The struggle of doing everything on my own, all the resources that I need.
How old were you when you moved here?
I think I was 18.
And Jocelyn, did you come right to the States when you joined?
I was 29 when I came in here.
29, and you went right to the Army.
Yes, I joined the Army right away.
With 3 guests and no Kalina, there wasn't much time for me to talk about Jocelyn's years in the service, so I followed up with her on the phone.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Jocelyn. It's Stephanie. How are you?
I'm good. It's cold.
It is cold. I'm glad that we're making a little bit of extra time. What part of the military were you in?
I was in the Army.
And how long did you serve?
I served a very short service due to medical reasons, but the hard part is the transition, I guess, to civilian life when you get out of the Army.
Can you tell me a little bit about that transition for you?
When you get out, it's hard because you feel like that's not your world, the civilian world. It's not you. So it took a while for me to be able to adjust myself, and then I just keep thinking about like how I'm gonna live without the Army, because it's already like in your system, your day to day. When you wake up, when you end your day in the military, it's the same, and then now you're going out, and you don't know if people can understand you. So the transition is very hard, but in my head, I just focus on I shouldn't waste all my benefits. So that's why I went to nursing, and with the hopes that when I finish, I will be able to take care of the veterans and my brothers and sisters at arms.
Did the Army help pay for your education? Is that what you mean about your benefits?
Yes. So when I get out of the Army, I transitioned to Veterans Affairs and they provided me with educational benefits. And I used that to pay for college for the nursing program.
I see. And is there something that you might like to say about that?
I mean, I'm happy to serve my country. Technically, not by birth, but it accepted me and, it gave me a bigger opportunity to serve and protect. And until I get out, if I cannot, protect them as a army, as a soldier, at least I could, help those soldiers that are doing their job. And I've seen a lot of veterans that needed help too.
And Jocelyn, since we're taking a little extra time to dive a little deeper into the service that you gave to a country that isn't your country by birth, thank you again for that service. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I just like to encourage the veterans if they needed help. If you're a military, sometimes it's hard to ask help because you're used to be tough and you're a soldier, you can do it, right? But for my brothers and sisters, if you need help, don't deprive yourself from that help. Ask help. And Aid Life is here if you need home care assistance or anything that we could help you at home to stay safe. And if you don't know the process on how to do it with the Veterans Affairs, just contact us and we'll help you out.
Jocelyn, you talked about the transition to civilian life when you left the Army. Where did you go to get help?
Um, so I'm medical discharge, so the process is a little different. I just try to navigate like the benefits that I could acquire, for example, the educational benefits. And then I was able to have a person to assist me to connect with school. And then the school has its own veterans community as well. So that's what I did when I get out. And, I could still feel like I have some people that could understand me. And then from there, I start slowly to be social and communicate with the civilians.
What about emotional support? Where did you go for that?
I call my family in the Philippines. And then I met Kenny and Patricia in school. And, they become a big moral support for me. Like Kenny and Patricia, they've been really there for me. Like if I'm feeling so low, they're able to be there and take care of me too.
And how's the emotional support network for you today?
Today it was big difference because now I'm a mother of a 2 years old. She's my everything, and I have my husband beside me. So I have a stronger support system compared like 5 years ago. The life is way better now because I have more direction, like the company and being a nurse and being a mom. I mean, life is good.
How do you three get along at work?
It takes a lot.
Now that's honesty. I like that,
No,
Kenny.
not one company has only, smooth sailing course. There's ups and downs, roller coasters. There are discussions that we have different opinions on.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, we try to, compromise is the word, I think. Trying to validate each other's reasoning for the business decisions that we're making. And then, trying to come up with a solution that we can both at least tolerate and also plausible for the business. Yeah, so I think that's one thing that we are really good at. So we communicate every single detail that we do because we have different functions and roles in the company. And I think our communication is the key for us to, spiral this business and hopefully make it more successful.
Yeah. What challenges have you encountered that you did not anticipate? Wow, I stumped them.
No, because I'm pretty sure we have a lot finances wise, and but not all businesses run smoothly. But one good thing about us being Filipinos and being like sisters and brothers here, we try to overcome it. We just hang on to each other, throws ideas like how can we resolve this? Even if our ideas are different, we try to come up a really good solution all the time.
Yeah, and the fun fact for
Yes.
for all of us, we actually started saving up $5 each month from nursing school to get the funds, enough fund we need to establish the business.
So $5 each. Would you put it in a jar or something?
In a bag.
We have a joint.
You opened a bank account and you literally $15 a
Correct.
month.
And when you're not, every people has that trust in other people.
Each other.
Because there's always risk that one would,
So when did you start the business? What year?
2020.
You
right
did?
after pandemic.
Oh, what a great time. 2020.
Yeah.
And so were you able to go into people's homes right away?
No, because of the pandemic.
Right.
Yeah, it's so much more difficult than opening a business when everything is open.
And if you had done it in 2019.
Yes.
And so how long did you have that bank account before you opened the business?
Oh, we're still students.
Yeah, I think since 2018.
Yeah.
So a couple years.
A couple of years, yes.
And you probably saved a little nest egg.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And we still have that account up to this date.
Oh, and so did you spend it? Or
We're
you
spending
still-
it wisely.
we used it in registering the business and all those things.
Like to get a
Yes.
business license and things
Yes.
like that? I love that.
Stephanie,
Yes.
we mentioned we started 2020, but we're not able to deliver service right away, right?
Right.
And it's difficult because at that time it's the peak of the COVID. And also being Asian is it's difficult. That time Asians receive a lot of hate.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So there's a fear for safety, and then also like, are we gonna be accepted in the community? So it's really hard for the three of us, me, Kenny, and Patricia, to really navigate the community. During COVID, we were like, how are we gonna deal with this? Will the community be accepting if they know that the owners are Asians, or they're gonna avoid us because of this COVID? They might be more concerned of their safety, and then we also fear for our caregivers. So the company starts really a rocky road.
I haven't experienced at all what you've experienced, but I do hear what you're saying, and I appreciate that you're willing to say it. Part of the reason that we wanted to start having a forum through this podcast was for just this reason. It's important to expose our listeners to all different types of businesses in the county, but it's also important to expose our listeners to the issues that business owners face. And different business owners are facing different issues simply because of their background, their ethnicity, and that you experienced that prejudice during COVID simply for being Asian. That's a real obstacle. And it just adds to the element of what a survivor you are and your business partners are.
Yeah, it's a struggle at first 1 to 1 year and a half, because we have to create a policy that will follow the law and
The
then we
COVID
have
protocols too, right? And they kept
COVID
changing.
protocol. But then also we have to create a policy that would protect not only our clients but also our caregivers.
And did
all
you
the
feel
time.
like because they were Asian that you had to have extra rules in place?
Yes, definitely.
Boy.
And then we have to do the assessments ourselves just to also assess the environment. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we say we care, we're not only pertaining to our clients, but also our caregivers, you know. That's our caregivers is also our family. So we gotta make sure is the environment that they're gonna be working is accepting, or is there people around the area that could harm them. There's so many things that we have to be consider when we're providing care. It's not only, you know, just the delivery of the service, but also we have to make sure the safety of everybody.
And that's not a small word. It's safety on multiple levels, is what you're saying.
Yes, yes.
As fun as it was when we had all three of us together in the room, I am learning that even though we made a connection that day, that a one-on-one conversation can maybe alleviate some fear and build a little deeper connection. Thank you.
We're grateful for Marin and for Chambers because joining the Chambers mixers, we get to feel the business and the community side. Marin is majority white, but we felt welcome. So
That's great.
and we feel like we're accepted as an Asian business owners. So we're like, you know what, this is our home. You know, we could start our home here.
I mean, we
Yes,
are
yes.
really working on the mission. We are one Marin. We're really working to try to make that true.
It is. I just wanna attest to that. You guys are really supportive, and then we meet our clients also in Marin. They're very accepting, and you know they welcome us. So we're really happy to be part of Marin.
I'm glad, Jocelyn. Speaking of things that, may have been hard, Kenny, you talked about your experience moving from the Philippines. I know it seems very emotional. Kalina, who is not only, I told you, my right hand and my left hand, she also does a lot of good research. I know she interviewed you all a little bit on the telephone, and she mentioned that you identify as gay and that you would be willing to talk about that a little bit. We are always interested in minority-owned businesses, and I define that minority to include a lot of things. I wondered if you've had any positive or negative ramifications from that.
Definitely, there's a lot of positive, but also negative. I don't know if everyone knows about being gay in the Philippines is much different from being, out in the community, like in California, where there's a bubble and, a safety net for LGBT. Because a little bit of background in the Philippines, when it's majority of them are Christian Catholic, and
Yes.
and LGBT is not that supported in the Philippines. There's a lot of slashback for being gay. A lot of people get bullied, and then that's why a lot of gay in the Philippines, are closeted. I mean, they're not out and being proud of who they are.
It doesn't always line up with the religious
Correct.
beliefs, right?
Yeah,
So-
and there are other aspect of culture also that doesn't support the gay community. Moving here, that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to move, to be free
Out.
and happy. As cliche as it sounds like, but
It doesn't sound cliche. It doesn't.
Yeah, so that's
I'm
one
sorry
thing.
that you couldn't have that at home.
Yeah, but I think things are getting better now, since a lot of gay people are standing up for their rights way back home, and I totally support that movement for them, and I
Yes.
wish them luck. But anyway, moving. I'm
Yes.
digressing. Sorry.
No.
So yeah, coming here, I feel like it's more open to being gay. So I was able to move freely, not thinking about if I am moving or acting the right way, free of judgment. Yeah,
So you found this area to be accepting.
Correct.
That's wonderful.
and I love that about
Yeah,
about it.
I do too. I do too. Let's see. Salamat po. Yes.
Salamat.
Salamat din.
Salamat din.
That was thank you, right?
Yes, thank you.
Well, it's just been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you all in San Rafael more often.
Thank you.
If someone wants to reach you, what's the best way?
So the best way to reach us is give us a call. Our phone number is 707-641-6006. And all of us, Jocelyn, Kenny, and myself, have access to that. So we'll answer at any time of the day. We don't have a stop clock at 5 p.m. where we don't answer our phones. We'll answer it any time of the day. You can also check our website, www.AidLifeHomeCare.com, which has more of our details there.
And we're also in Facebook.
Yes,
All
you
social
are.
media.
And follow our Facebook page and Instagram page, AidLife Home Care, and you should be able to reach us there.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you for
having
having
us.
Thank you.
You just heard all the ways to reach AidLife, but we also invite you to reach out to us. Join the conversation. How about calling us with your ideas or thoughts on our episodes? We will take those calls at 415-847-2539. That's 847-2539. Or send us an email to weareonemarinpodcast@gmail.com. We hope to hear from you. The Marin Community Foundation generously sponsors this podcast. Our theme music is performed by a student at Enriching Lives Through Music. Elm is in San Rafael's Canal neighborhood. Finally, a reminder to support diverse local businesses and shop Marin.